What are your thoughts on the firing of Alex Cora?
Had to happen. As I said yesterday, I'm a Yankees fan, and the Astros, champs in 17, the Red Sox in 18, the Yankees played them both in the playoffs, had leads on them both, and especially against Houston, only lost at Houston.
And you heard CeCe Sabathia just echo that sentiment, his frustration that he could have had
one,
a title
maybe two,
in 17 and 18.
Like, I hear Dodgers fans really upset. I'm a Yankees fan. I'm at least as upset as Dodgers fans. And those are the two that really got hurt. And by the way, New York, Los Angeles World Series, you would think that's also good for the business of Major League Baseball. I want to be very clear why this is a scandal unlike some other cheating scandals. You know, I mentioned yesterday, Stephen A., that steroids and human growth hormone, the difference between that and amphetamines or whatever else is that they fundamentally change players into things they were not. They could double the home run to at-bat ratio of a 35-year-old. When he's supposed to be in decline and turn him into a power hitter, he never was. As great as Bonds, Sosa, and McGuire were, obviously the cheating, it changed them. You brought up the counterpoint, but Max, everyone had access to it. And a lot of the major leagues were doing it. Here is what the issue is with sign stealing in this case, Stephen A. It's not simply that they're stealing signs. If you're trying to peek in and catch the catcher's sign and he tips it and he doesn't do a good enough job covering it, that's on him. Good for you. It's that at your home ballpark, you're using technology that only you have access to and against which the other team has no defense. There's nothing you can do to counteract what they're doing, and only they have the access to it. It is reasonable and highly likely that you would think that actually gives them an advantage in the game, that decides games. That's what's so egregious about this. Cora had to go. Astros personnel had to go. Manager, GM. And if this spreads anywhere else, where it spreads, any other party that was doing this also is going to have to go.
There's nothing about this, in terms of what you just said, that I would refute in any way. What I would tell you is that my mind is in a different place. And what I mean by that is clearly Alex Cora had to go. But I want to state this on national television. He should be ashamed of himself. He really, really should. Obviously, the general manager is gone for Houston. A.J. Hinch, the manager, is gone as well. But Alex Cora, if you talk to anybody in baseball, which I obviously have, Max, they will tell you he's a baseball lifer. This guy has been around baseball all his life. He loves the game. He's incredibly familiar with the traditions that come along with the game. He repeatedly talked about what he owed the game, what the game has done for him, etc. And obviously, knowing a guy like him who has so many friends throughout Major League Baseball, you know good and damn well when you crossing the line. And clearly, in this particular instance, his willingness to do so is just so egregious because you're cheating the competition. And that's really what this comes down to. Alex Cora is somebody today that should have to listen to the CeCe Sabathias of the world who alluded to or flat out spoke about knowing that he had an opportunity at a championship late in his career. You're talking about legacies that were compromised, dollars, the additional dollars that would be in people's pockets, walking around like a champion, knowing that you've earned it. And Alex Cora appears to have gone against all of that, in terms of implementing this scheme and having subordinates work under him to really tip off hitters. And one of the other things I wanted to mention is this. We talked about two managers have lost their job. A general manager has lost their job. I want to know what kind of ramifications the players are going to suffer from. Clearly, they were complicit in this because guess what? If you hear that banging on the trash can as a player, you knew what it meant. Listening to Tim Kirkjian on Get Up an hour ago, what did he say, Max? He said guys like Cal Ripken Jr., guys like Tony Gwynn and others, they didn't want an edge. They didn't want to know about an edge. They didn't want anybody coming to them with assistance from technology talking about what was noticed or what have you that could ultimately elevate their chances of success. They wanted no parts of that. It's me against you. Let's get it on. I'm the one up at bat right now, and I'm going to go down swinging, figuratively, literally, and otherwise. That's what I'm going to do. Clearly, the Houston Astros were not a team rife with individuals that had that kind of mentality. They were willing to benefit off of it, which is why they smacked an exorbitant amount of home runs when they were at Minute Maid Park, which is why they scored 18 runs on 26 hits with 6 home runs over a span of 2 games against an ace Los Angeles Dodgers squad, in that 2-game stretch. They clearly didn't mind. When are we going to hear about these players suffering some consequences? I sincerely hope that we do, because they were clearly complicit. They are not innocent in all of this. It should not stop here.
And the shame is, the Red Sox maybe could have beaten the Yankees without cheating in 18. Maybe. I don't know. But it tarnishes, you throw that out now. I don't think the Astros would have. I think the Astros certainly lose that series without cheating in 17. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.